Hi guys, it's me Chelsea. So today I'm going to be doing kind of I don't know if it's controversial, but it's definitely something that I've kind of put off doing because I'm scared of what could happen after, but I just feel like it really needs to be out there. I'm going to be doing my Paul Mitchell experience. Now, I'm not going to mention exactly what school or our names because I don't want to get in trouble because I feel like my school would try to sue me. But I researched a lot, and I know if I don't mention names or if I completely try to bash them, then I can't really get in trouble. And I looked up what slander means, and that means if you're telling lies. I'm not telling lies, so can't really get in trouble for that. Now, I'm just making this for people that I know that maybe they're thinking about going there, because I've had a lot of people ask me, what'd you think of it? And I just can't, tell them, oh, you should go there, because, no, I just can't do that to people. Now, I don't even know where to start. I was just, making a list, and I was getting, angry just thinking about it, how horrible it was, so I'm just gonna get started. Yeah. I'm just going to be listing off a whole bunch of different experiences that I've had that weren't great, and so, yeah. So, when I went to the school for my very first time, the atmosphere was amazing. The school was beautiful, and, you could just tell that, everyone was happy, they loved it. Well, so you think. They were all just putting on an act. So, when I go, the girl who did my orientation or whatever, she was like, oh my god, yeah, you're gonna love it here, it's so positive, every single day you're gonna come to school, you're gonna be in a great mood, we don't deal with bad attitudes or unhappiness, and we don't do bullying or cattyingness or blah blah blah. And I was like, oh my god, that's so great, I'm so excited. Yeah, that's all a bullshit lie. So, it was good in the beginning. I loved my class, so that was really good. But once we started getting to know the place, we were this place is not happy and perfect like they said it would be in orientation. It's absolutely nothing like that. So I'm just gonna kind of read off my list. So we have these, it's gonna be completely out of order. I just wrote down stuff that I could think of off the top of my head. So we have these things called theory tests, and we have to take one every single week. It's a chapter test. So we would take those every single week. And I think it was 2 months into my journey, they just changed the rules, which they did that a lot. They would just completely just change the rules. I don't even know if that's even something you should do. They gave us a pamphlet, a book of all the rules, and then they just change the rules around. Can you even do that, because you signed the paper saying that you agree to all the rules, so I don't understand how you can just change the rules whenever you want. So we would be able to retake theory tests, because every single day when we come in the morning, we would have theory from 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. So we had that 4 days a week, and then on Fridays we would take the test. So we used to be able to retake the test no matter what through all 4 days of theory, because we're in theory, so we should be able to take the tests. Oh, well, they changed the rules midway through, 2 months in. You can only retake tests on Fridays. Now, that might not seem like a big deal, but when you're about to graduate and you have 13 tests to retake, because you can only retake one every Friday, you have a buildup of tests that you have nothing to do with. You can only retake them on Fridays, so then you have to wait till the following week to redo tests, and you can only retake so many in one day. You can't remember that much information. So I think me and half my class had 10 tests to retake by the end of our journey, because we just had them built up, and it was just, no, not good. And going off of that too, I remember one time specifically, she was our, I don't know what you'd call it, guidance counselor maybe, I don't know. She came in the classroom, and we had one of our teachers, she was giving us these study guides, which it was exactly the test. So I can see why that was a problem, but it helped us study because the tests were nothing like the book. They were, but there's so much information in a chapter that, So a couple of us were asking her, why can't we have the study guides anymore? And she was getting mad about that. So we're just in theory, and let me remind you, theory is silent, like you can't talk at all. She just comes in the classroom and she's like, guys, listen up, I have something to say. She's like, I don't know where this came from. She's like, but we are not allowed to do those study guides. She's like, I'm sorry if you're doing bad on the test, but that's not my problem. Maybe you should study more. And we're all just like, are you fucking kidding? Like, excuse my language, but we're just like, are you kidding? Like, did you really just say that to us? She's like, the tests are not that hard. And we're all just like, okay, like, okay. So then she just kept going on and on and on. She probably went on for like 15 minutes just screaming at us. I wasn't even looking at it. I was just facing the front door and I'm just like, get me out of this fucking place. And then going off of that too. So once again, we had like a pamphlet of all our rules and we had to sign that to say that we agree with that in the beginning of our journey. So I think it was like, almost a couple months till we were about to graduate. Me and my friends, we were like, you have to get, I think, at least a 75 on the test to pass. And like we were getting like 73s, 72s, 70s, and we were like, you know, we're so freaking close, like I don't understand. So then we look up in our like pamphlet and it says the passing grade is an 80. So we were like, what? Like, we were almost positive it was 75. And so we asked around, and they're like, yeah, it was definitely 75. We're like, well, yeah, look at the pamphlet. It says it right here. You have to get 75 to pass. So we're like, that doesn't make sense. So we asked one of our teachers. Well, we only, like, trusted one of them. Because all the other ones are, like, it's like, what's the word? I felt like I was in a cult. Like, they're all connected. Like, the eyes have walls. If you talk bad about them, like, everyone knows. So we, like, went to someone that we trusted. And we're like, hey, like, this doesn't make sense, right? And he's like, yeah, that's not right. So we take it upon ourselves to go talk to, I think he's the owner. So we like go in his office, whatever, and we're like talking to him. And he completely just like ignored our question and just kind of changed it around. He was all like, you know, like, we could have a really great school. He's like, we want to raise our standards. He's like, why set the bar down here when you can be way up here? He's like, I should set the bar to 90. He's like, I can set it to whatever I want. He's like, why should I set the passing rate as a 60 when I know you guys can get a 90? He's like, you need to set yourself up. He's like, you don't want to set the bar low that you can reach it. You want to have your little bit of some struggle to get there. And we're all like, you can't just change the rules. So, and like none of us were notified that the rules changed, you know, like the whole time we're all thinking it's 75 to pass, but it's really 80, and none of us got notified for that. Like, don't you think you should get, like, a paper, like, saying, oh, hope you understand that we changed the rules, you know? So, after we left his classroom, we were just like, that didn't even help. Like, he absolutely did not help our question. Like, we were saying we were struggling with the tests, and we needed something to change, because things weren't, like, working out. And it didn't happen. Nothing changed until about 2 months later when one of my friends had her mom call. And let me tell you too, like when a mom calls, they don't do anything about that. Like they just don't care. I remember my friend, she was like devastated for like a week. She was just like so upset to be at school. And finally, I think it was like 1 week before I graduated, they finally started to teach during theory. Instead of just having us read the chapter, they would actually like teach us lessons about that, which was cool because then you actually, you know, you got to see the stuff one-on-one and like that helped. So finally they changed it. Okay, moving on. Back to like the guidance counselor person. You have to go to this person for like if you have any issues, blah blah blah. And her door was always closed, so you never like, you felt weird if you just knock on the door because once in a while if you'd knock on the door, she would completely just ignore you. She wouldn't even come to the door, so you'd just be sitting there like I know she's in there, I know she can hear me, like why isn't she coming to the door? So multiple times I would just like throw my problem out the window because I'm like, I don't have time to just stand there and wait for her to answer the goddamn door, you know? And most of the time when she didn't answer, she'd open the door and be like, what? And it's like, I'm sorry, I thought I'd come to you for my problems. Like, that's what you told us on the first day. Like, you can come to us for anything. Like, okay. Oh, another thing we had were every month we get these boxes that are just like different things that you have to complete the whole month. Like, do a certain amount of haircuts, do a certain amount of colors, blah, blah, blah. And once you do all those tasks, you have to get them signed by your teacher. And they always said, like, once you complete something, get it signed right away, because otherwise you're going to forget about it, you know? Multiple times I would go to this certain teacher, and I'd be like, hey, can you sign my boxes? And she'd be like, oh, I'll do it, like, tomorrow. Like, I can't right now. It takes 2 seconds to sign my box. Like, you can't do it right now. Like, really? That would just irritate me so bad. So that's just, like, one little thing that bugged me. I don't know if it bugged other people, but it's just, like the rule is, you have to sign them right away. Like, why can't you just sign it? Like, it takes 2 seconds to sign your signature. Like, you really can't. Oh, I forgot to mention, back to when the grades changed, like, from 75 to 80. She actually, the teacher that yelled at us before, she came in and she was like, if your number one goal is to try to expose us and try to, like, find all our flaws, then you should not be at this school. Like, if your number one goal is to find every little thing that we do wrong and try to prove us wrong on it, then you should definitely not be here. Like, that is just not right. And we're all like, we're not trying to, like, expose you or, like, find flaws in your system. We're just trying to, like, help ourselves, you know? So you get this kit, I think it's like $2,000-$3,000 worth of your tuition, and it comes with all this stuff in it. And along with all that stuff, it comes with, like, I'm about to sneeze. It comes with, like, 2 books, like, 4 textbooks, DVDs, and all this stuff. Let me tell you, not once did I read those books. I didn't use, like, half the textbooks they were provided. I didn't use half the, like, DVDs they provided. I mean, we were supposed to go home and, like, watch the DVD, but who really does that? You know, you go to school for 8 hours a day, you're not going to come home at 6 o'clock at night and watch the DVD when you just spent the last 8 hours, like, you know what I mean? It's just, what's the word? It's just, like, common sense, like, you know what I mean? It's like when teachers have kids go to school all day and they provide them with a shit ton of homework. Like, oh, go leave school and then do more schoolwork. Don't bother spending time with your family, you know? It's kind of like that. So I have all this stuff that, like, I didn't even use. You know how much money I could have saved? Like, one DVD is probably like $300, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have 4 DVDs, like, 2 books, like, I just can't. It's just a waste of your money, you know? Like, we don't need that. So another thing is, we have these classes, they're all called, like, specialty, and it's just, like, I think it was every week you got switched to something different. Like, we were supposed to have, like, hair cutting one week, hair color the next week, like, perm, like, texture week, makeup, nails, but it always seemed to be that makeup and nails, like, never came in the rotation. Like, maybe, like, once every, like, 6 weeks it would happen, and it got annoying because constantly you were doing haircut after haircut after haircut, and there's only, like, so many haircuts in the Paul Mitchell system, so you're constantly doing the exact same haircuts, and it's like, this is repetitive. Like, I want to do makeup, I want to do nails, like, I want to learn the other aspects of cosmetology, you know what I'm saying? So that was really annoying, and when we'd bring it up, they'd be like, oh, it's next week. Like, of course you're saying that. I'm sure it wasn't next week, but now that we bring it up to your attention, that's when you have to be like, oh, it's next week. Alright, and on Saturdays we have school. If you're full-time, you have school from 9 to 5. And if you don't have a client, you have absolutely nothing to do. Like, I'm saying nothing to do. I remember one time, this is probably bad of me to say, I remember one time on Saturday I had nothing to do, so I literally went downstairs in the bathroom and I just sat on the stall and I played solitaire on my phone because I was so bored. I was in there for probably like an hour. So, yeah, like, you just have nothing to do, so you're just like, I hate my life, like, that's horrible. Okay, so, I got some stories. So one time, I think it was a Saturday, I'm just, I had no clients, so I'm just standing there, and I'm the type of person that learns from watching others do something, you know? I can't just, like, do it automatically and be like, oh, there it is. Like, I have to actually see it physically done, and then I can do it. That's just the way I learn. So, and I remember in the beginning they said, we highly encourage you to get out there, watch others, and, like, learn. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, my friend is over here, and she's doing a haircut on her boyfriend. Let me remind you, we don't do men's cuts, like, ever at school, so I didn't know anything about men's cuts, so I was like, oh, I want to watch you do this. Like, I'm not just standing there because I want to be next to my friend or talk to her, you know what I'm saying? I'm literally just observing the way she's cutting his hair so I can learn. So this teacher, the one that I was saying how never has time for us, and the one who yells at us, She comes over to me and she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm watching my friend do a haircut. And she's just like, you need to go work on your mannequin. I was like, why? I'm learning. And she's like, come over here. So she literally pulls me away from what I'm doing, learning from my friend, pulls me over into the corner, and she's like, why are you watching Mary? Sorry. Why are you watching her do her boyfriend's haircut? You should be working on your mannequin. I was like, you told us from the beginning that we should be, obviously I wasn't like talking this rude to her, but I was like, you told us from the beginning that we should be learning and observing other people do stuff. Like, I'm learning from her. I'm not just standing there trying to talk to her, you know what I'm saying? And she's just like, come in here. So she pulls me into this office, tells me to sit down, and this is what she says to me. When I tell you to do something, you're gonna do it. I'm not gonna ask you again. You need to go work on your mannequin right this second. She's like, you do not need to be hunched over your friend watching her do a boyfriend's haircut. She's like, you're not learning from that at all. Now go work on your mannequin, or I'll just send you home. And I was just like, I'm just sitting there looking at her like, I'm not nodding, I'm not doing anything, I'm just looking at her like you're a joke. Like, so then I left and I'm just sitting there like working on my mannequin like very angry. And you know how like when you're trying to hold in tears like and then someone comes over and asks if you're okay, you're just like, waterworks. So I'm sitting there working on my mannequin and my friend comes over and she was like, hey, like what's wrong? And I'm like, I just started like bawling. And I was just like, thanks a lot. And she's like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, so that was that experience. Horrible. Totally unnecessary. Okay. What was the other thing? So my friends, like a couple of my friends, you like weren't allowed to like have your hair in a ponytail because it's unacceptable and unprofessional. But like most of the styles are like messy buns, like you know what I'm saying? Like messy buns, ponytails, like. So my friends a couple of the time, like they would look fine. And my teachers would be like, you can't wear your hair like that again. Like, go fix your hair right now. Like, it's disgusting. Like, they would straight out say that to them. I never had it personally happen to me, but they would say it to my friends, and I'm just like, I understand we're in, like, the cosmetology business, and you're trying to, like, represent, like, your business. You want to look good. Like, no one wants to get their hair done by someone whose hair looks like shit, but there's a nice way to say it, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Another thing. So we did this thing in the beginning that, like, when someone graduates, we get to leave class for, like, 5 to 10 minutes, and we got to clap them out. So, like, we just clap for them, and they'd walk down, and they'd sign out. Well, then they changed the rules, once again, and they were like, oh, we're no longer doing that. Like, we're not leaving class to sign people out or clap people out, like. And that kind of sucks because you go to school with these people for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you grow bonds with them. Like, you want to clap them out and, like, it's like missing your best friend's graduation. You know what I mean? Like, what? It takes 5 to 10 minutes to do this. Like, it's not going to kill us. So, I remember one time, one of our friends was graduating. And this is when the rule was in fact that we couldn't leave class. So a whole bunch of us, we were like, you know, we were just all talking in class, we're like, you know what, we're just going to tell the teacher that we're going to the bathroom all at the same time, and we're going to go clap her out. So we did that. We're like, we're going to the bathroom, so we all left. Well, the teacher comes downstairs while we're downstairs. She's like, you guys all need to get back upstairs. So we went upstairs. Well, then the next day we got called down to the owner of the school's office, one by one. This is what he said to us. He was like, you know, come to my attention that you left class to clap so-and-so out. Now, can you tell me why you did that? And I was just like, because they're our friends. Yeah, well, we changed the rules, so, like, you're not allowed to do that anymore. Like, you're not going to be able to leave class. It takes 20 to 25 minutes, which is bullshit. It does not. It takes 5 to 10 minutes. And you guys just completely didn't obey our rules, and that is just unacceptable. Now, if it happens again, I'm going to have to expel you from this school. And I'm like, it's that serious that you have to expel me from school because I left class to go clap at my friend? Like, that shouldn't even be a fucking rule. So we were all like, okay, like, yeah, it won't ever happen again. Like, we were just like, this is fucking bullshit. So that never happened again. But let me tell you about this one time. This really popular kid that we went to our school, like, everyone was obsessed with. let me tell you, every single person in that school was there to clap him out. All teachers, all students, every single person. But the next day when my friend was getting clapped out, there was like 3 people there. And we're like, it's okay for him to have everyone in the fucking school to be at his clap out, but when my friend is graduating, like, no one's there. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like bias and favoritism, and it's just like, the school is ridiculous. So that's all I have for my public experience. Now, I don't want it to seem like I'm like straight on trying to like shit talk them or like say like do not go to this school, because I did learn a lot from that school. I'm just saying there's a lot of bumps in the road and it wasn't worth it, honestly, to me. So I'm not trying to like slander their name, like you don't even know what school I'm going to, but like, so don't try to think that I'm like trying to slander their name or like ruin their reputation, because it wasn't everyone at the school. Like there was like 4 or 5 teachers that I loved that helped me and made me who I am today. I'm just saying, like, most of like the high-end staff people who are like in charge of the school, they really need to like reevaluate their attitude and the way they talk to people and just the way they handle things. They need to get their facts straight and not lie to their students and try to cover up what they did wrong. Just admit to what they had, like what they did wrong. And so yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. Is I mean, I've made a lot of really great friends there, and I've learned a lot, and I've met some amazing people, like. So yeah, I'm just saying I wouldn't go back to this school, because it was just a nightmare. Every day I came home from school, it just devastated, upset, and hated going back there. But I just want to make this video to help any other people, maybe if they're going to that school or thinking about going to that school. Like, if you're gonna go, just be prepared for all these things to happen. But yeah, and I've talked to multiple people who've gone to the same school in my area, and they've all had the same exact story, so it's not just me. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and see you guys in my next video. Bye!